Smile, everybody. Smile. As big as you can, as much as you can, you're allowed to. You must, you ought to if you're an India supporter. Virat Kohli, KL Rahul among the runs, among big runs. India 356 for 2. Well, they batted over 2 days. 50 overs. Virat Kohli, 47th ODI 100. KL Rahul, 100. That is got the whole nation heave a sigh of relief. 111 not out. He was the aggressor. Virat Kohli took his time to get going and then suddenly changed gears, got into the Virat Kohli zone that we know him for. 356 for 2. You're watching Cricbuzz Live, and I've got two very happy experts. One alongside, one joins us from his fancy house in Gurgaon. How happy is India as a nation, DK? This is, I suppose, more than what India expected.
Humongous total. 1.3 billion. Is that?
Oh,
1.4 billion. I think a lot of people watching this match will be very, very happy. Massive grin on their faces. King Kohli at its best again. Just great to watch him bat. Just the tempo of his... He is just so good to watch. And KL Rahul, I couldn't be happier for him on a personal note as well. To have obviously done what he's done, but had injuries and then come back and you get this one opportunity and to make the best out of it is a man who's got a lot of steel about him. And it is so good to see what he has done. I couldn't be, as I said, happier as an Indian fan watching how Team India have gone about their batting performance. I don't think Rahul Dravid could be any happier with how well this batting effort has been.
Joy, of course, KL Rahul will be thrilled. He will be thrilled to bits today. But three people who have backed him all along, Ajit Agarkar more recently, the captain Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid, how relieved do you think they will be with what they have seen of KL Rahul today?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's shown us two things. The first thing is that if you're going to bat with Virat Kohli, you need that extra level of fitness because he's going to make you run a lot of twos. And that's one of the hallmarks of the innings today, the number of twos they ran. And they'll be very, very happy with the kind of fitness that he showed. He ran every run that, he turned down Kohli only once or twice, and that too when the runs were very risky. Otherwise, I thought it was an impeccable performance. I mean, how often do you see two openers getting quick 50s and then batsmen 3 and 4 getting two big hundreds, accelerating so beautifully? This is a textbook one-day international innings. 233 runs. Virat Kohli, just look at that strike rate. 128. No, 130. Almost a strike rate of almost 130. I mean, that strike rate. And Virat Kohli, when he started that innings, when he was up there in the middle, if you see the numbers then, he was batting at about 60, 65, 70. From there to take his strike rate to 130 tells you exactly how well this man knows the game of one-day cricket, how well he knows how to control the tempo. This is a textbook case. I mean, watch this. This is like fine wine. It's one of the finest innings, one-day international innings I've ever been privileged to see.
It's almost like this whole ODI format is in some way coded into Virat Kohli's DNA. Whether he's chasing or batting first. And while all of us were going gaga about KL Rahul, very quietly Virat Kohli goes on to hit 100. A lot of us didn't even realize.
I'm sure there's going to be a graphic very soon about the tempo. What makes Virat Kohli special? It's not just his boundary hitting ability. We always speak about fitness, how well he runs between wickets. For me, it's his tempo and most importantly his longevity and consistency in one-day cricket has come about because of his fitness and running between the wickets. He has the innate skill to push ones into twos. I've batted so many times with him. If you are a player who is on the runner end with him, you better know how to run fast because he will make you run like helter-skelter. You have to be all over the place. It's like rat running after cheese. He is making sure that he gets every run for him counts a lot. He takes quick singles, converts those twos into threes at times. And for me, the special part about any batting, just like any other aspect of life, is when you make it look easy, and he makes batting look really easy at number 3. I couldn't believe sometimes talks were about whether he should bat at 4. Number 3, the greatest ever, King Kohli, yet again makes a mark, plays a big knock against a team which is their arch rivals for so many years, the nemesis, a terrific bowling attack. Yes, they missed Haris Rauf, but just the way he went about his things in such a professional manner, very cold at times in terms of how he goes about it, was just brilliant to watch. And a lesson for all young kids. It's not just about hitting 4s and 6s. Watch Virat Kohli and how he rotates strike of spinners. That is a great art and he is probably the master at it.
Yes, it's also a reminder of what we've been taught about ODI cricket. Ones and twos are the lifeblood of a proper, solid one-day international innings. Now, 9 fours and 3 sixes, that's a total of 54 of 122 in big shots, the other 66, Joy, in ones and twos, 66, 68, whatever it is. But it just goes to show that the key to this man's success is fitness.
Yeah, again, let's go back and look at the stages of his innings. When they had reached 50-run partnership, he was batting on 21 of 28 balls. Then when they reach a 100-run partnership, he's still not caught up. He's still at 39 and 43 balls. At that stage, Rahul is 62 of 64 balls. By the time they reach the 150 mark, 276, Kohli is 75 of 67, and he's pressed on the accelerator. And at that point in time, actually there was a period where Rahul was a bit, becalmed as if not being able to get the ball away. But just Kohli just takes over the game at that point. And that's the greatness of it, Going at about 75, going at 90, 95, then suddenly he accelerates, finishes at 130. 130 is a strike rate you're proud of, reasonably proud of if you're playing 20 over cricket. In, 50 over cricket, it is absolutely sensational.
Joy, earlier this morning, Novak Djokovic won his 24th Grand Slam title. He spoke about Mamba mentality. We often talk about GOAT, GOAT, greatest of all time. Is hunger a key virtue? Is hunger the most common virtue among sporting greats across the planet? And where does Virat Kohli stand for you on that list?
He's very high up there because hunger. And look, you just look at, a lot of Indian batsmen have had, times when they haven't scored runs. Sachin went for for a while without a century. But nobody in Indian cricket, and I say nobody, has gone through as difficult a phase as Virat Kohli had gone after that post 2019. To come out of the phase the way he has and to bat the way he has after that and to, build his game. And it's the second thing, you just look at this, I think Sachin's 18,000 runs, 452 innings, I think there is a chance. I mean, 13,000, he still has 5,400 odd runs to go. But don't count this man out simply because of the amount of fitness that he has. Just the level of fitness that he has, he still might have a chance. And as I once again say, he's 34 and a half years old. He's still not almost 35. He still has a huge chance. With his kind of fitness, he could easily play till 40. Today, if you look at them on the field, if you look at it seriously, KL Rahul was the one who was struggling a little bit more than Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli was recovering even faster than Rahul was, and that at his age is just unbelievable.
That's a big statement from Joy because he's still got 5,242 more runs to score to equal Sachin Tendulkar. He's just 200s away from Sachin's 49 ODI hundreds. 5,000 possible? He's 34.
Look, Sachin started at age of 16.
Yep.
That makes the difference. Whereas Virat Kohli started much later. When I say much later, it was 20 or 21 when he started. I'm not very sure exactly when. So those 4-5 years could be the difference. It's different from 16 to 21 than trying to catch up from 34 to 40. It's two different ball games altogether. Virat Kohli, what he has achieved is phenomenal. Whether he goes on to touch Sachin's record or just falls short of it or just gets ahead of it, we have to say he's going to come out as one of the greatest cricketers India has ever produced, one of the greatest batters the world of cricket has ever seen, and his strongest suit has to be how well he has dominated 50 overs cricket over a period of time. There is nobody who can even come close to him in terms of chasing, and there is nobody who can come close to what he has achieved in ODI cricket in terms of sheer numbers. I mean, he is going to go down as the benchmark for anybody who takes up 50 over cricket. And mind you, 50 over cricket is at a very sensitive place right now, so you don't know what the life of 50 over cricket is going to be, but till the time it lasts, King Kohli will be the king of that format for sure.
Fastest to 8,000, fastest to 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, now fastest to 13,000, 47 ODI hundreds, 29 test hundreds, 1 T20 100. That makes it 77 international hundreds. 23 more. Is it on?
I think Joyda wanted to say something here. Tell me, Joyda.
Yeah. I just want to say that perhaps one of the reasons he might not catch up with Sachin is that Sachin played at an era where one-day international games were the norm.
Yeah.
You had very few T20 games, right up to 2007-8. Even after that also, you had IPL. But international cricket, there were not too much T20 cricket. There was more one-day cricket. What might happen is Virat might not just get enough one-day international matches to get there.
I'll,
That could be a reason for not
I'll
getting.
tell you what's staggering about that stat when that graphic comes back again with the top run getters. If you just look at the number of innings, I mean,
yes.
to get it at
Off.
267 is unreal, I'm telling you. It's very much comparable to what Djokovic has done, because when he started his career, Federer and Nadal were flying, and they reached a point where they said no man in the open era can reach what they have done. But Djokovic has come and said, I'm going to change everything about that. And he's gone on to achieve more than them in terms of numbers. Now, what he's done to the sport, we'll keep that for another day. We are a cricket show. Let's talk cricket. But what this man has achieved in 267 innings is come close to some of the greats who have played the game. And we are adding up all the formats. And mind you, Joyda made a perfect point here. To score runs in T20 cricket is not easy. First of all, you won't get the volume. Number of balls, number of runs you could score obviously reduces a lot. But in spite all of that, for him to come about and do that in 267 innings, hats off to the man. You can say maybe he'll just fall short because of the amount of cricket he's playing, he might not end up getting there. But to have achieved what he has done, he'll play far lesser innings than what a Sachin Tendulkar has done. And that will be the greatness of Virat Kohli. The consistency with which he has achieved what he has done over a decade and a half is unreal. And I genuinely hope there will be somebody pushing him at some point of time. But just like the Muralidharan's 800 test match wickets record, I have a feeling with the number of innings that he's done in, nobody can reach the kind of runs that he has scored in the same amount of innings that he's done it in.
Well, hundreds in international cricket surely on the cards. 23 more, not too much to ask for. Virat, no pressure. May a few of them come for India in the month of October and November. Hopefully one on the 19th of November as well. Now then, let's focus on KL Rahul. Has to be a story that's given India not just joy, but a sense of relief, joy. This has to calm down 1.4 billion Indian fans, saying, has he with this innings laid to rest this debate which is more out of concern, more out of worry? Joy?
At this point in time, the situation where you have, I think if you look at that batsman, if you're looking at 4 and 5, definitely KL Rahul is out there, and you have to say Ishan Kishan is out there. Shreyas has missed a chance. Unfortunately, his fitness has let him down, and it's really sad because he's come back after so long. But with this kind of innings, it's a very masterful innings. And one of the things that KL Rahul gives you a lot is he's an excellent player taking on spin as well. You're going to see a lot of spin in the 50-over World Cup as well because you're going to have surfaces where they spin. It helps spin. So I think having a player like him who can attack spinners as well as he does will be useful for India. Again, of course, having said that, Shreyas is also a great player of spin. But nothing matters more than having runs on the board. And right now, the man who's got the opportunity has taken it with both hands and put 100 on the board. So, I think at this point in time, for that number 4 spot, if Ishan Kishan is playing at 5, I think Rahul has put himself in pole position. Of course, there's still about 4-5 matches left, but I think he's put himself there.
It's a partnership that lasted 233 runs. 233 not out. It is India's highest ever partnership for any wicket against Pakistan in the history of this sport. And would you look at the impact of this partnership only, would you restrict it to only this match? Or could this have a much longer, long-term, larger macro impact on how Pakistan views India or how India views Pakistan?
Pakistan always views India as a threat. Come the World Cup, they know India is a massive threat. Even in the last T20 World Cup, we came from the dumps and found a way to win. So they know the Indian team is a very, very potent team and a very dangerous team, especially when it comes to Pakistan. Now, what Pakistan would be worried about, as I said, is Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill taking on a Shaheen Shah. And also, what is their answer for Virat Kohli when he gets going? And now with KL Rahul doing well, more than Pakistan, I think Team India have to rethink their strategy, rejig their strategy a little bit. So long they had earmarked KL as a keeper, but when Ishan has done well, they probably have felt, Ishan left-hander, let's stick with him. Now, KL Rahul being given the opportunity at number 4 because of Shreyas Iyer's injury, he's come, put his hand up and said, hey, I'm not here to just come and watch the game. I'm going to participate and show you how good I am. And he's put again a score that is going to not confuse. It's a happy headache to have. They'd rather have this headache than have non-performing players not knowing who to play than performing players and everybody raising their hand and saying, I think being part of the World Cup is something that you can be proud of. And we have a lot of time. We have another couple of games in the Asia Cup, and if we reach the final, another one, and then 3 ODIs against Australia, 2 practice games. That's 8 games almost for them to decide what their batting lineup could be. If today you ask me, it will be KL Rahul at 4 and Ishan Kishan at 5. Things could change in a couple of weeks' time, which we have seen, because 2 weeks before we were thinking completely differently.
Yeah.
And today we are thinking completely differently. So I think that could very well happen. But for the moment, they'll be extremely elated with what KL Rahul has shown and with how Virat Kohli has paced his innings that they're used to, but coming good again in a big match against Pakistan. Signs are ominous for Team India. Other countries in the World Cup, beware, Team India is coming, and they're coming really fast and hard.
Well, Babar Azam's plans were troubled a little bit because while this innings was on, there was a tweet that the Pakistan Cricket Board sent out on Haris Rauf of how he had some discomfort in his right flank. What that flank is, DK shall explain. And they had to take him for a precautionary MRI. Luckily, there's no tear, so good for him and good for Pakistan. He remains under observation of the team's medical panel. And after this tweet, clearly Haris Rauf didn't bowl, and so they had to cover 5 overs, which cost them 52 runs. The 5 overs that Ifti Chacha bowled cost them 52 runs. Clearly, can't really blame Babar when he loses one of his strike bowlers.
Babar Azam has been very interesting in his captaincy ways, and I say that because for some strange reason he somehow finds a way where he puts himself into a corner where the last over or the penultimate over is bowled by a spinner. We have seen that a few times now.
Yep.
Iftikhar Ahmed on a good day is better off bowling ahead. If you're going to hold him for the 49th over, actually Naseem Shah obviously walked off and hence he filled up, so that is understandable. But I just felt that he had nowhere to go because of Iftikhar Ahmed, in the sense that Haris Rauf not playing forced him to bowl Iftikhar Ahmed. And what is great to see is how India took on Iftikhar Ahmed and Shadab Khan post the break. So in a way, India will be very happy with their plans. They went about executing it. Who was the 6th bowler? Iftikhar Ahmed. Yesterday we had spoken about how Iftikhar Ahmed won't be bowling much because right-handers at the crease, they'll take him on. Today he had to bowl because of a forced injury to a flank is somewhere here, just above the upper tummy, between the back. And it can be a, they call it a side strain, but that's more inside. So this is something that is more precautionary. They don't want to push him before the World Cup, and understandably so. And he was a huge miss, as we saw, because he is somebody who could have picked up wickets through the middle. And the moment you don't pick up wickets in the middle, what happened in this match will exactly happen. India 30 overs, 175. The thumb rule is if you've lost less than 3 wickets, you try and double it, and that's exactly what Team India did. 350 plus, which basically means they've got again another good 175 plus runs in the last 20 overs at almost 9 and over, thanks obviously to the fact that Haris Rauf missing, they made use of the spinner. So India played its cards well. Pakistan a little hamstrung by that, but you have to say Indian batting was very, very efficient today.
Joy, for the last 10 days, since we all saw Pakistan do what they have been doing, the one word that has been associated with them is stability. They've been announcing they're playing 11 for every match 24 hours in advance, and we've all said, wow, this Pakistan side is so stable. They've all their boxes covered. Now, with what we've seen Kohli, KL Rahul do to them in the absence of Haris Rauf, will they be forced to rethink? Will they say, listen, maybe we need to add another bowler? What do we do now? What is our plan B? So what is their plan B, Joy?
So I think the first thing I'd say is that it's less about, it's not so much about how they're playing. I think the biggest thing is that look at that innings progression, the way India, that period between 21 and 30, that's a period that rain came, they came back, they went to 4. But look at the acceleration after that. I think the bigger problem for Pakistan at this point in time is not their bowlers so much. Haris Rauf will come back and they have capable reserves. The biggest problem for Pakistan at this point in time is the fact that their fielding and their general efforts seem to fall off once the Indians were on the rampage.
Yep.
You saw one catch, Naseem maybe didn't see the ball, didn't go for the catch. The heads seem to droop. And that is one thing that, when your team is down, and this is the first time in this Asia Cup, Pakistan has actually been under the pump really badly. Somebody's really gone after them. And that is the one thing they'll be telling themselves, that we cannot afford to suddenly, drop off like we did. Because what did Virat Kohli do? He forced them. He ran a lot of twos. He really ran the field ragged, and that Pakistan fielding just fell off a bit, I felt. And of course, the conditions were not easy because it was a slippery ground. But somewhere Babar Azam would be telling himself that when these guys are batting, we need a slightly better effort on the field as well.
How much of this can...
And that's one thing that they definitely...
Sorry. Go on.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's all I have.
just wondering how much of this can be attributed to the absence of Haris Rauf for the 5 overs.
Main bowler gets injured, bowls all three phases of the game, a big miss. Though Pakistan's biggest worry will be, why is their spinner Shadab Khan not penetrative enough? Just the 1 wicket yesterday where Rohit Sharma, he didn't cause the dismissal. Rohit Sharma got himself out with the shot that he played. But today, he had another opportunity, but he hasn't been penetrative enough to get a wicket. And in fact, KL Rahul took him on when he decided to. So that would be Pakistan's biggest question. You got to, if you remember even the T20 World Cup, even though it was a pitch which had a lot of bounce and seam, Mohammad Nawaz, till the over that Hardik Pandya took him on, was bowling very efficiently. So that is something that they will think over. Is it Fahim Ashraf or is it Mohammad Nawaz for Pakistan? That will be a big question for them because through the middle, spinners have controlled India. Whereas fast bowlers, they found a way to get runs. So that is a big question for Pakistan to answer. Should they go in with the spinner in Ahmedabad or an extra medium pacer?
There's Osama Mir as well as another option.
I still feel they'll go for Mohammad Nawaz because he gives you a little bit of batting, which is something they need at number 8. Usama Mir is an out-and-out leg spinner, so I have a feeling they'll stick to Mohammad Nawaz. It will be still between Nawaz or Ashraf. That is a big question for Pakistan.
Also, you can't not have a slip when plays just resumed. Naseem Shah is bowling full tit, Virat Kohli on strike. They didn't have a slip.
It is a tactical error. It could happen. Virat Kohli, is he gone by the name or does he feel there won't be enough movement for Naseem Shah? So these are the questions that Babar Azam has to answer. If you had looked at most bowling captains, would have looked to have a slip there. They'd have been looking for wickets. Babar Azam slightly on the defensive, looking to stop the runs and hoping that then Virat would make the mistake. But Virat is magic man. He knows what it takes and just looks to dab the ball to third man a lot, and this one taking the outside edge, but the fielder not being there obviously helping him. But Babar Azam definitely made a tactical error at the start of today not to have a slip there.
Well, since this is the season of ticking boxes for Team India, 356 in the pocket, and that will mean that when Jasprit Bumrah comes out to bowl, he will go all out, or will he? Should he? He's got the cushion. Should he go full tilt or should he just sort of ease himself in?
He should ease himself into it. There is no reason for him to push himself too early at the start. Yes, he's had a few games against Ireland, but he hasn't played since then. The last game against Pakistan got washed out, didn't play the match against Nepal. For him, it's going to be the first time he's going to be bowling 10 overs if the rain gods don't come in. So here is an opportunity for him, obviously, to check his body. For KL Rahul today, yes, he would have enjoyed his batting. Yes, he would have enjoyed his stroke making. But the biggest question that he would have answered himself is, he can run hard and he can run well between the wickets, because the way he was running with Virat Kohli would have tested every part of his body, all the areas that were injured and all the areas that he's worked on, and everything would have said, you know what, we are good to go. And that would have been the biggest takeaway from him after his innings. Similarly for a Bumrah, it would be about making sure his body is reacting in the right way through the 50 overs for him to have the confidence to build it up and then go full tilt in a few matches from now.
Now, Joy, is it safe to say what KL Rahul and Kohli have done is they would have allowed Rohit Sharma to maybe try a few things, go easy, no pressure, to be able to chase 357 is going to be difficult 8 out of 10 times. So it allows Rohit Sharma a lot of freedom as captain.
Look, runs in the board obviously allow you that. But I just want to also say one more thing. Remember one thing. We are actually playing a match against Sri Lanka tomorrow. So this Indian team is out there playing a match again tomorrow. So when you're looking at players in the field, one of the things they'll be looking to say is that don't go so hard that you can get yourself injury, because you're going to have to play 2 matches in 2 days. Nobody ever does that in one-day international cricket. These are special circumstances because the reserve day is there. So yeah, one of the things they will look at, because remember the Pakistanis are also looking at, if this was a World Cup final, Haris Rauf would have bowled. They are preserving him because Morne Markle is saying he's far too important for us to risk for an Asia Cup match, for a group match in the Asia Cup at this point in time. So India will also be, in that sense, looking to preserve their fast bowlers. They don't want injuries at this stage. It's far too risky for them.
Who are Pakistan looking at for the big runs? Yes, they often talk about Babar Azam. He's clearly their superstar batter. He has been among the runs, but runs against Nepal, as you saw at the start of the Asia Cup, they couldn't really bat against India. It was just one bowling innings for them. Imamul Haq has been among the runs as well. Mohammad Rizwan, always the force. Agha Salman, the youngster, but the big worry for them, DK, is the iffy form of Fakhar Zaman. They need runs from him up top and very quickly in this match.
Fakhar Zaman has found it hard to play the ball that's moving. And when there's lack of pace, he finds it even harder. He's got a very fragile technique where his front foot just goes to the leg stump and he wafts at it. It gives him the freedom to use his arms a lot, which is one of his strengths, and also becomes his weakness when he starts nicking off balls. So that has been a worry for him, where he's nicked off to slip, got caught behind, the odd catch being taken at point when he's driven away from the body. He's very good on his pads. That's one of his biggest strengths, and he makes room for himself to hit through the offside. For him, the biggest challenge would be getting past the Bumrah spell. Bumrah's always troubled him a lot, so that would be the biggest challenge for him. The good part about it is Bumrah is bowling after a long time, hence Fakhar Zaman has that much, sort of cushion to go on when he's batting. For me, the two big batters in this game are Iftikhar Ahmed and Mohammad Rizwan. Because Mohammad Rizwan plays at a time when our spinners will be bowling. He's very good of the sweep shot, so he'll trouble Rohit Sharma with the kind of fields that he has to set. That's going to be a big challenge for the spinners.
Yep.
Number two, Iftikhar Ahmed is somebody who has the confidence to do well against India. So he was somebody who's just got 100 against Nepal, is in good form, and he becomes a crucial wicket because the way this game will progress, Iftikhar will have a very important role to play at a key moment in the game, and if he could get his wicket at that point of time, then India will have a great chance in moving forward in this game.
While we were watching Kohli and KL Rahul do what they were doing with the bat, DK said between 11 and 40, if you have a batter in the middle order who's very good at playing the sweep shot, with just 4 outside the circle, you've got to have a solid spinner. Given that that's the case, how does India go about using Kuldeep and Jadeja?
Kuldeep is somebody who is the wicket taker for India. So he will be attacking. He will probably have the sweeper cover come in. So he'll have a short point covers and a short third man, and he will look to hit them, make them hit through offside, and bring his Chinaman and the googly into play. Jadeja is the big one because Mohammad Rizwan plays the sweep really well, and he walks into the ball with the ball going away and just one fielder in behind square on deep square leg. There's always opportunity that he'll find the gap. So he has to either bring mid-on up, or he has to bring the fielder who's there for the cut up. So that becomes the biggest challenge for Jadeja. We'll see how he goes. Jadeja was the biggest challenge. Jadeja will be the easiest bowler for a Mohammad Rizwan to target. So he becomes very important because the role he plays in stopping the runs helps Kuldeep Yadav get the wicket. So they work in tandem with each other. So that partnership is going to be interesting to see.
Joy, what should India's risk appetite be like in this innings with 356 in the pocket? You reckon Rohit Sharma should try out a few things, maybe test his bowlers in different phases, or just go for the jugular, register a win and send a message across?
Look, testing your bowlers is no question. You just have to try and win this game. And as I said, he's absolutely right. If our fast bowlers don't get too many wickets up front, if there are 2 or 3 wickets up front, then it's difficult for them to also control the game after that. But if they manage to get through that phase, then it's a question of the spinners. That those 20 overs of spinners in that 40 is going to be really, really crucial. And I totally agree. It's Ravindra Jadeja. Given the situation, it's Ravindra Jadeja who's the person they're going to target. I just want to tell you one thing. We've spoken about Fakhar Zaman, but remember, all the other Pakistani top order batsmen have got runs.
Yep.
The other 4 have all got runs. So it's not that they're not in form. They might be a bit rusty because they haven't had that many opportunities, but runs they have. And that's one thing that they'll be looking at each other and saying that, yeah, we are fairly confident we can make a go of it. I think the other thing is that India just doesn't have any other bowlers. I think they will definitely give Hardik Pandya a run in today as well. And I think that's important for them because it's important to see how Hardik bowls under pressure in circumstances like that. And you might even see him coming in the first 10 overs as well.
DK, a quick assessment of what the pitch is expected to be like, and will there be help in the air of the pitch?
There will be a bit of swing for the fast bowlers up front, maybe a bit of lateral movement as well, but there is quite a bit in it for the spinners. I feel Kuldeep has a major role to play, could pick up 2 or 3 wickets because we saw when Shadab Khan and Iftikhar Ahmed bowled, the ball was stopping on the batters, which tells me that the pitch is slightly probably damp because of the sweating, and the spinners will get enough turn for them to obviously create inroads if they hit the right length. So it's going to be a day where the spinners can call the shots if they get going well.
Jasprit Bumrah has the ball in hands. India defending 356. Jasprit Bumrah bowling in ODIs is a sight that we've all been waiting for a long time. The Pakistani batters are out there to do what may seem a bit difficult, quick prediction before we say goodbye. A score at the 10 over mark.
72 for 1.
Joy.
55.
Okay, I'm going to go with 40 for 3, 2 for Bumrah. We'll find out if that's true. Let's wrap it up now and we'll see you at the 15 over mark on Cricbuzz Combox. Do join us then. Bye for now.